Hey you, thank you for tapping in. My name is Denise and I travel in my 2014 Nissan NV200 named Dragonfly. Today's video is all about why I bought Dragonfly instead of buying a house or renting another apartment the last time my leasing opportunity came up. To fully explain it, I have always been that person who, when something resonates with me, I am gonna seek out the resources, I'm gonna take the initiative and make the thing happen. An example, when I was 16 years old, I graduated from high school and had an acceptance letter to NYU. I filled out my financial aid paperwork too late to get financial aid that year because I didn't know how to do that, and my parents hadn't graduated from college. They went to trade school, professional school. So anyway, long story short, I still decided I wanted to move to New York, and I literally got my dad bought me a round trip ticket and said, hey, if it doesn't work out, you can always come back. And my mom bought a ticket alongside mine and traveled with me to New York and introduced me to the family friends that she had stayed with when she lived in New York many years before in her 20s. And yeah, basically I made the thing happen, graduated from NYU, and lived in New York ultimately for over 10 years. So let's fast forward and get into why I choose to live and travel in my van. The name of my channel is Living the Best Rest of My Life. And that has been a mantra of mine for several years, for quite a few years. Around 2011, 2012, I was called into my doctor's office and I was told that I had less than 12 months to live. At the time, I was diagnosed with mixed connective tissue disease, with primary disorders being scleroderma, which means sclera meaning hardening of, derma meaning skin, and the type of scleroderma being systemic sclerosis. That had caused scarring in my lung tissue, and the secondary diagnosis was pulmonary fibrosis. That was actually also along with a few other ones like Sjogren's syndrome and Raynaud's syndrome, and yeah, all kinds of fun things. At the time, my son wasn't even 10 years old. So I knew that there was no way that I was leaving this earth before he graduated from elementary school, from middle school, from high school, and beyond. So yeah, that's how it all began. In order to make it past 12 months, I knew that I was going to have to make changes in my life. And the biggest factors in my health journey, I believe, had to do with stress. And at the time, I was in a failing marriage, as much as I loved teaching. I taught middle school math and science. I knew that the stress of the job, of the career, was doing too much for me. So I made changes in both of those areas, as well as I changed how I ate, and I changed how much I moved, just in general. Not just, I didn't become a bodybuilder, but I certainly started moving more and exercising more. And so I made significant changes that made significant changes in my health and how I feel today compared to how I felt then. So now, my symptoms have drastically changed. My lung function has drastically improved, and I have an amazing young adult son. And because of all of those things being where they are, I've always been a traveler. I guess a little bit of a sidebar is that, my father was a commercial airline pilot. My mom was an avid traveler who wasn't afraid to take 4 kids along with her wherever she went. So, and then even when I was in college and when I was younger, I traveled all the time just because. So I kind of put that to the side during the years that my son was growing up, other than like family trips. And so now that it's just me, I have decided that I want to travel. I want to go and see all of my people all over the country, all over the world. I want to go see places that I've not been to. There are states that I haven't been to just yet. So yeah, that's really what all of this, or a big part of this, is for me. So when I stopped teaching, I actually moved into working remotely. At the time, initially, I worked from home. And when I relocated to the Atlanta area, I had also just really become frustrated with the idea of investing hundreds of thousands of dollars into a 30-year loan, and being stuck in one place. I started looking at building a tiny house that will require less of a financial burden. But then in 2020, I started getting all of these videos about van life, and I started watching them and looking at van bills and started thinking about it all. And in 2021, for my birthday, I bought Dragonfly. At the time, she only had 1,259 miles on her. So I was super stoked about the opportunity to start with a van that was healthy, that, would get me to and fro, traveling across the country and back, which I've already done, and now also traveled all the way up to New Jersey from Georgia and back, and headed to all other kinds of places in the meantime. So I hope this video has just told you more about my channel, who I am. Some people have asked about my van build. I will provide more information. It is a super low build. I did have the Max Air fan, the 100 watts of solar, shore power, and then a one-piece wooden piece in my ceiling. Those were done professionally, but everything else was pretty much bought on Amazon. I did put a dowel that goes from one side to the next so that I could put the curtain up to separate the front from the back. But yeah, everything else was literally bought on Amazon, and I just put in the place where I wanted it to be. But thank you for watching all of the video, and if you would love to learn more about the channel, please subscribe, share with your friends, and also if there's a topic that you would like for me to talk on, I am more than willing to. So put that in the comments, and I look forward to connecting with you. Thanks again.